Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about Roundy Moundies. They're a very fun, cute little arrangement. They're great for centerpieces on round tables especially, or a little accent on a coffee table or a side table. What you're going to need is you need to get some floral snips. You need a shallow waterproof container. I found these really cute ones on Amazon. They come with a little container, a little bowl, and a pre-cut thing of floral foam that fits right inside there, like that. You'll need some foam, you'll need some floral food, and then your choice of flowers. Today we're going to use daffodils and hyacinths that I found in my garden. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is you're going to prepare your container. You need to get your foam, and you're going to place it in some water that has your flower food in it, okay? It's very important when using wet foam not to force it under, forcefully submerge it. You just need to kind of let it do its own thing and soak it up at its own pace. If after a minute it's still kind of not going all the way under, you can gently push it under. But you see how I'm just letting it soak it up itself. If you force it under, there's a chance that there's going to be dry pockets on the inside. And if there's dry pockets and you're trying to put your flowers in there, it's not going to work to keep the flowers hydrated. Okay, so you see how now it's completely filled with water. So what we're going to do is take our lovely foam, just kind of pull it out of the water and firmly put it in to our thing, okay? You don't want to squish it like all the kids always do, but you want it to be in there nice and firm. All right, so now we have our lovely little container with our wet foam inside it. What we're going to do is decide how big we want this to be. Now this is not huge, it's only about as big as my hand, but we need to decide if we're going to make it big or if we're going to keep it really tight. Remember, when you're making a roundy moundy, it's like you have an inverted bowl over it. So it's going to be like this, okay? We have our bowl. This is the general shape that you're going to want it to be, okay? So as you're working, imagine your bowl. You can have a bigger bowl, you can have a smaller bowl, but that's the general shape you're going to be working for. Okay. We are going to start with the flowers. The first ones I put in, I'm going to call the skeleton because it's going to show us how big of an area we need to fill. All right, so I've got my lovely little daffodils from my garden, and I am going to remember the size of the bowl that I put on there, and I'm going to snip them. Okay, so it's going to be about that big. Now remember, it's a bowl arrangement, and so the blooms are all going to face different directions, okay? The ones on the top of the bowl are going to be facing more upward, more vertical. The ones on the side are going to be more at an angle. Okay, they're not going to be facing straight up, they're not going to be facing straight out. And then at the bottom, you're going to have them a bit more vertical. Sorry, not vertical, horizontal. So they're sticking out, okay? And you're going to put, 7 to 9, depending on how big the blossoms are, of these as your skeleton. Okay. Just kind of spaced somewhat evenly. It doesn't have to be totally symmetrical, but you want to space them somewhat evenly around your bowl shape. A little roundy moundy. Okay. Notice on the ones on the bottom that I'm letting it kind of overlap the container. I think it looks better to soften it up a little bit. Plus, this isn't the most attractive thing in the world. You don't really want to showcase it. So covering it up a little bit is going to look really nice. See how short I cut the stems for the ones on the bottom? Because I don't want them to be sticking out way too far, okay? Now as I'm going along, I'm noticing, this one right here, I made it too long. I can try and stick it in, but that's as far as it will go. Now a rule of flower foam, wet foam, is you can't just go like this and say, okay, there, that's where I want it now. You can't pull it out because then it's not in contact with the foam underneath it and it's not going to get any water. So if you need to change the position, pull it out, snip it off again, put it in a different spot, okay? So that the stem is always in contact with the wet foam. All right, I'm liking that better. We're going to continue around. Just a little bit shorter on that one. Notice how those ones are facing outward. That one's going to be too tall probably, so I'll snip it a little bit shorter. All right. So I'm just going to keep going around until I have a good skeleton, a good base for my design here. Okay. Looks like I need a little bit more right here. Again, you're going to cut it really short for these lower ones. Because they don't need to be sticking out really far. Alright, so here's my skeleton. Now, I get to fill it in. Okay, so you see how that kind of works? It's got the bowl shape. Doing the skeleton first will help it to not be lopsided later on. You kind of get your shape, the general shape you want first before you start filling everything in. It's a good idea. All right. Now, to fill in my other spots, I've got my lovely little hyacinths. And I'm just going to start filling those in. I've got pinks and purples. And again, we're going to angle them more horizontally the lower in the foam they get, and more vertically the higher they get. Keep that nice bowl shape. We just twist and go. Now you'll notice that I am getting a more loose shape to this one. I want it to look more wild, like it was just plucked out of the garden. I don't want it to be very strict and rigid and very, very round and flat. I want it to have some ups and some downs. Okay, so see how the daffodils are sticking out a little bit farther than the hyacinths are. Stick this one down here at the bottom. Again, again, allowing it to overlap a little bit. And as you're going along, you're going to do your best to completely cover the floral foam, because you don't want to see it. It's not that attractive. So you're going to do your best to completely cover it. If you find that you still see little bits peeking through here and there, you can tuck moss or greenery or other small flowers down in there to cover it up really good. All right, we're almost filled up here. And when working with floral foam, you have to use pressure to get it in there. You can't just gently stick it in. You do have to use quite a bit of pressure. If you hold the stem that you're working with as close down to the spot that you're putting it in as you can. So I was putting it in right here. I'd hold it as close as I can to that spot. If you hold it up higher and start pushing, there's a chance it's going to break right here. So hold it as close as you can to the spot that's entering the foam. All right, how's it looking? Pretty good. I think I need to add another daffodil in there. Stick that one in right here. Okay. So there you have it. You've got a cute little Roundy Moundy. Very springy, very fun. All right. At the end of your design, when you're all finished, I might want one more daffodil right there. I'm going to keep tweaking it until you like it. Find a spot for that. There we go. Okay, when you're finished and you're pleased with what you've got, you are going to just take a spray bottle full of water and just lightly mist the entire thing. Keeping the petals just a little bit moist helps the flowers to stay hydrated longer. Okay. I said I was done, but I'm really not. To get one more of these hyacinths in there. Okay, so I'm going to take my spray bottle, just lightly give it a little mist, a couple sprays. And there you have it. There you have your Roundy Moundy. Now, what I like to do is I like to see what kind of embellishments we can do. The easiest thing you can do is to just get like a placemat, a fun placemat, I like this one. And just set it in the middle of it. And that just kind of gives it a more finished look. See that? Another fun thing with these little containers that I'm showing you is that they can fit into a pot. See how it just fits so nicely right in there? So instead of having to arrange into the entire pot, you can arrange just in a little bit of foam and stick it in there. Let's see what it looks like in that. So I'm going to have my little container, stick it on there, and then just place it in there like that. And that gives you some instant height. You can see that. And it's super easy. So these are very versatile, wonderful little flower arrangements, little roundy moundies.